And back to Abia State, where we brought you the report of a middle-aged man who lost his life on Monday after being electrocuted at a Wilcox Relief Transformer located at number 13, Chief Wangwa Street off Compost Road, Obo Hill, Abia State. Tony Ademodi is live with us. Tony, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Feels good to be with you guys this afternoon.
Thank you very much. When you told me about this story earlier in the day, I said, people still take such a risk. But let's hear the other side of the story from you, Tony.
Well, it was a bizarre story that actually happened in the early hours of today. The residents of the Chief Wangwa Street off Compost Road, Bohila, Abia State, they all woke up to that very sad story of a middle-aged man who lost his life because he tried to vandalize some, electrical equipment, the armored cable wires, in one of the transformers in that area. So it was a very sad one, in as much as some of the residents who I spoke with, I'm sure you must have rolled out that interview to the viewers. One of the residents who I spoke to told me that he noticed or he heard people screaming in the early hours of this morning at about 2 a.m. or thereabout when that incident happened. It was reported that the man tried to vandalize the electric transformer. Some persons actually saw him. Some neighbors actually came out in the early hours of the morning to see the man. He hadn't died at that point. In fact, he was still up there. So at that point, they tried to convince him to come down from the pole. But seeing that if he comes down, probably for the fear of him being lynched and all that, they persuaded him to come down. At that point, nothing had happened to him. But just across where the transformer is, they have the very popular Wilcox Memorial School. So the fence of the school reports say the man wanted to jump from the pole into the school premises, hoping that he was going to escape from there. But unfortunately for him, he tried, jumping down. One of his legs, I think, touched one of the wires. According to reports, that very area has not had electricity for the past 11 months. They've been having these issues with Abapa Limited due to the high tariff, which we've talked about severally on this program.
Yes, and I also remember the court case.
Yes. Most places in Aba, are having that issue, and this Obohil axis being one of them. So the people of that area actually went to Abapa and told them that if they were not going to reduce the tariff, it is better that they, disconnect them up until when they would have given it to reduce the tariff. So Abapa came, disconnected them, and actually left the neutral line in a bit of trying to secure the transformer. So the Abapa left the neutral line that had power. And according to reports, it was said that that area has not had light for some time. But on that very fateful day, power was restored late last night towards that particular line. And unfortunately for the man, he was, involved at that point, and he was electrocuted. Quite sad. I'm sure you've seen videos that I actually seen a couple of people, sympathizers. And it was also reported that it is not the first time the man has done that. People who know the man, the deceased, who identified him when he was finally brought down from the pole, stated that he's been notorious with vandalizing Papa equipment. So it was stated that he actually has done it a couple of times, and each time he's been caught. Most times they beat him up and probably let him go, but unfortunately, this time around he won. And it was also stated that one of his friends, who both of them used to involved in such nefarious acts, was also killed, or he lost his life, through the same way. So that was just what happened. It was a very sad one here.
Very, very sad. Very, very sad. Very sad. But now that this incident has happened, the people living in the area, have they resolved the issue of electricity with the Aba Power Limited?
Well, it's been one of the burning issues, in Aba in the last couple of months. In fact, about a year now, the issue of the increase in tariff. Like I said, we've had a couple of discussions here on this program, but it's still worrisome. In fact, when I spoke to a couple of persons around that area, they have actually complained. It's a general thing in Aba. A whole lot of people have complained about this issue. Aba Power Limited, is still not holding that town hall meetings with people. Yeah, they may have held a couple of them previously, but the Aba people have told them that they should explain to them why the tariff, has been increased. And Obohil Axis being one of the very popular areas in Aba, for those who know Aba so well, know that Obohil Axis is more of a residential area as compared to other parts of the city. So the problem is still very much here. The increase in tariff still worries some people. Are just managing, hoping that it gets better, because the increase was over 100% increase. So you can imagine what people are passing through, especially in this part of the city. So, but then we can only hope that the people there are hoping that Ababa will restore power back to them, because you can imagine staying for 11 months, almost a year, without power supply. That's very worrisome.
Thank you very much, Tony Ademodi, for giving us a deeper insight into that issue. Thank you for coming on to Southeast News. When we meet tomorrow, we'll be looking at some other issues. But for now, I want to thank you very, very much for being part of Southeast News today.
Always a pleasure joining you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you again, Tony.